Mike Bohn here at the World MMA Awards with Trevor Wittman. And Trevor, this is very special for me because you're very hard to track down to get some interviews. So I'm sure you're hating
behind this curtain right here.
You tried to sneak off, but they held you for me. This feels it's an honor.
Yeah, well, it's cool to talk to you. I know you've asked me many times, and I kind of have the same rule for everybody. I think it's about the fighters. I kind of just lay low, man. It's I really try to get a lot of family time in when I get back home, but no disrespect to it's just a lot. Interviews become a lot, and I try to give my all in everything I do. But my athletes speak for themselves, and man, we had a great year.
They do, yeah. It's very honorable, that approach. I can respect it a lot. And but since we do get the chance to talk to you, and we didn't at UFC 268, can you tell us that night for you, those three, main card fights? Just what was the, I guess, aftermath of you that night? Like when you had those 3 wins and you went home, what did you do after the fact? How did you celebrate that?
I went right back to the room and got a little bit emotional, and then I went to sleep. I got to experience it with Kamaru and Rose prior to that, and just those 2 fights alone wore me out so much I couldn't even stay in the back room and watch the interviews. So I knew I was going to be in a lot, emotional dump after the fight. So I was kind of prepared for that. But man, it was that night was crazy. I mean, I've still got a back injury I'm dealing with because of that camp, and I've been doing it for 20-something years now, and my body is not holding up. It was tough. It was tough. But the night played out great. It looked like there's so many things that were going against us, and leading into the fight that I was actually the more nervous I've ever been cornering. And after Justin Gaethje's fight, he had such a spectacular fight that it was just like I was back in fan mode, and it was just like, man, I got the best job in the world, and it was just like instant. He just set a precedence on this is what we do, and man, how can you not go out there and enjoy the next 2 fights? The cool part about this too was we all got to go to the decision, and we all had adversity that we had to overcome. So that, to me, was like the coolest part. Yeah. I mean, we had Rose who knocked out Whaley and then went into a 5-round war in the 5th round. It was up to the 5th round. The same thing in the first Joanna fight. She stopped there, and then we went out there and had to go in the 5-round war. Kamaru hurt Colby in the 2nd round, had to go back out there and stick through it, and Colby almost roped the dopest a little bit. Yeah. Like, there was so much adversity, and Justin was out there eating leg kicks from Michael Chandler in the beginning of that 1st round. I mean, they all faced adversity, so that, to me, there's no better wins than that. We can go and stop and knock people out, but to me, I like the ones where we have to go make adjustments and win the championship rounds. Like that was very, very, very cool experience for me in that aspect.
Yeah, and I asked all the fighters. Obviously, we didn't get Gaethje post fight that night if they'd want to do this again. Kamaru said absolutely. Rose was a little more hesitant. Is this something that you would want to do constantly? I'm sure it makes aligning the training camps a little bit easier, but like you kind of just explained, it's a lot on the night, I imagine.
Yeah, it's a lot. I mean, it's like you're on camp, then you're off camp, and that's tough. I tried to get in shape prior to this, and I started running, and my lower back started getting me really fit. So I was like, man, it was hard. And again, emotionally, it's not just the physical part; it's the emotion. Like there was one time where I decided to give up my gym grudge, and I had 40-something pros, and I was asked in an interview, hey, Alvin Robinson is fighting this guy, and I thought Justin Salas was fighting him. And when you start to forget, who you're fighting, that's a problem. And having all 3 of them, I'm dealing with, oh man, we've got this game plan going on this fight, and having to switch that up, it was tough. Again, it's tough. It's especially when you got your heart in it.
Yeah. So let's just talk about those 3 real quick. Yep. I think we know Justin is going to be fighting the winner of Saturday's main event between Dustin Poirier and Charles Oliveira, so we know that's going to happen. Rose, I just spoke with her. She said she wants to fight Carla Esparza. Yep. It's the UFC, for whatever reason, seems somewhat reluctant to put that fight together. Is that the fight you would like to see for her? I mean, it could be a measurement of growth. I'm sure it's significant. Avenge the first loss, those kind of things.
I think Carla's the biggest challenge out there right now. She beat Rose, and that was where our team really came together. I thought us coaches made some big, horrible decisions in that fight. I was almost too much of a fan. I watched her on The Ultimate Fighter submit everybody, and it was just like, I didn't talk to her about a 5-round fight. Like, there's a lot of things. So I want that back as a coach. I think Carla's the toughest fight out there. Stylistically, she's the toughest. She's a grinder, and whatever the UFC thinks, maybe it's just marketability, but that's the toughest fight out there. But I'm open to fight anybody, honestly. Like, new challenges are great. Rose has got every one of her rematches back that she's lost to, so that'd be cool to get back. But honestly, the UFC makes the decision. I'm a coach, and I'm just there to prepare them for who's in front of them.
And speaking of fresh challenges, Kamaru is having an issue finding those because he's beat so many guys already. I know they're talking about maybe Leon Edwards next. There's this new guy on the block, Khamzat Chimaev. Would you prefer a new challenge for Kamaru, or would you prefer another rematch, I guess?
No, I think a new challenge. I think the Leon is like a new challenge to me. That was so long ago. So,
and you weren't his coach and stuff at the
and
time.
I wasn't his coach. And again, it's I just want the best. Like that's as a coach, we want the best challenges. We want to go out there and make sure that we're not hesitating and making different decisions, and then seeing if we can change game plans up in fights. Like that's a cool thing too. Fight differently than you did the first time when you fought him. So that's always a cool challenge for me as a coach. So I'm open to anything. At this level, it's like we want the best. That's it.
Well, I expect to see you back here on this red carpet again next year, nominated once again for Coach of the Year. Really appreciate the time, Trevor. It's an honor, and thank you so much, man.
I'm glad I finally get to talk with you. I'm so sorry I always say that.
No, dude, you're good. As I said, I respect it. I respect your approach, and it's obviously paying off well for you, so thank you.
Thank you.